I don't hate gun owners. I don't hate the Second Amendment. I hate gun violence. We have a right to life. We have a right to send our kids to school without fear.
That was Fred Guttenberg, who lost his daughter Jamie in the Parkland shooting, pushing for stronger gun control laws outside the U.S. Supreme Court today, as the court hears oral arguments in a case that could radically change gun rights in America. The case involves a New York law that places limits on carrying guns outside the home. The law was challenged by two plaintiffs who were denied concealed carry permits. A lawyer for the plaintiffs saying in his closing, quote, "In a country with the Second Amendment right, simply having more firearms is not a concern for this court." Court is expected to issue a decision next spring. Joining our conversation is Fred Guttenberg, the author of the book Find the Helpers, which is now out in paperback. Fred, your comments were electrifying, and just I always come back to this. Talk about your mission today and how Jamie sort of pulls you to all these places and all these efforts.
You know, I'll be honest with you. I was in a bit of a funk last night. I didn't want to go this morning, but my daughter actually, as she often does, sent me a message that got me up and out and there. And the reality, Nicole, is, you know, I listened to your last segment, and I think about Virginia schools, where amazingly this non-taught idea of critical race theory became more important than active shooter drills. It shouldn't. You know, that should be the most important thing that we focus on. And I worry that what happened today in the Supreme Court is going to make it even harder to do anything to protect our kids and those we love. Because I listened to the arguments. I mean, Supreme Court Justice Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, they came in with an agenda. They were activists in their questions. They did not concern themselves with historical context. I was actually pleased with Amy Coney Barrett, who did, and who I thought asked reasonable and thoughtful questions. But my fear, listening to the questions, is they had no concern for public safety, for the balance of public safety against what they deemed the Second Amendment. And for anyone who didn't listen to the arguments earlier today, you should be deeply concerned about what this activist court is going to do.
What is the role, if any, at this point, then, of stronger legislation? I know that you've been involved in those fights. Yeah. I know President Biden has been in touch with you and with the gun safety community, but someone asked me today where gun safety legislation is in Congress, and it isn't even among the myriad of things that we talk about right now. Why is that? Well,
because it's impossible to pass things in the Senate. And so, again, I listened to your last segment. Democrats, get off your butts, get over your wounds from yesterday. You have an election to win in 2022. We have a Senate to deliver and a House to keep, and we can pass gun safety legislation. So you know what? All my message to the Democrats is this. While you've been delivering on substance, you have fouled at the theater of governing. Get the theater down. Let's win, because lives depend on it. The other party is not going to participate in doing anything to save lives. It is clear. Let's make them irrelevant. They want to be irrelevant. Let's govern. Let's communicate what's happening. Let's save lives. Because I have news for you, Nicole. The NRA, I've often said my daughter was a cost of doing business for them. They are getting their return on investment now in the courts. We can't let it happen.